Here's Scott and Drew.
And with that, we say welcome in to another brand new live edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And I say live because, well, it is a Monday, and we are live once again on the road here at Bill Penny Toyota, sitting out here in the service department. And it looks like the great bull runs over there in Spain. The doors are open. The cars are flowing on into the service space here at Bill Penny Toyota. Their service department opens Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can come out here and get your vehicle serviced here at Bill Penny Toyota. Don't forget, right now, you buy 3 tires, you get that fourth one for $1. And they also have reliability, versatility, and rentability. Yeah, that's right. Bill Penny Toyota, their rental vehicles deliver all the reliability, safety, efficiency, affordability, and friendly service you can expect from a Toyota. Here's how it works. $15 per hour. So if you need to drive around town while your car is getting serviced, you can rent a Toyota, cruise around town, get all your work done, and be good for just $15 an hour. All vehicles. It's a 4-hour max. Then charges to the daily rental rate for that vehicle. If it's over 4 hours, any payments toward the hourly rental, that's going to be applied to your daily rental rate. So it's rentability, reliability, versatility, it's everything here at Bill Penny Toyota. Welcome in, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. You can join us on this beautiful Monday morning. Safe travels into work, into school, wherever you may be headed. We've got a lot of stuff to dissect and go over in just 2 hours. It seems that way every single day that we're in. Spring football. Alabama wrapped up spring football Saturday with A-Day. Kalen DeBoer's officially first day as on the sidelines. We'll go over that. Kentucky has their new man, and he took a shot at the old regime. Did Mark Pope. We'll break that down. Of course, the 88th Masters is in the books, and it was a romp for Scotty Scheffler. We'll break all that down. Got to get to your phone calls and more in just 2 hours live here from Bill Penny Toyota. 256-576-4977. Of course, we do start with A-Day. A beautiful day for football there. Inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, Kalen DeBoer called it a success.
Fun day, just all together. Obviously, it culminates with the scrimmage, and we're going to go spend some time with the guys and their families. But got a chance to meet with the parents this morning. Met with some different groups. Got a chance to get Coach Saban and in front of the team. That was pretty cool. Just get a chance to see him. And that's been since January, really, where that's happened. So. Really a lot of cool things, scrimmage-wise. Shoot, if it was a half, right, it'd been a tale of 2 halves. But that's why I keep playing. So many things that we're going to get to learn from this scrimmage. Depending on what side of the ball you're on. So I think overall, I count. I was trying to keep track during, so I might be off. But I think we had 6 penalties between the 2 sides, which over the 85 plays probably roughly. Kind of guessing that's not too bad. That's actually, improved each and every scrimmage. So I'm looking at those things and where we're improving. Rushing touchdowns offensively, the response defensively, getting down early, and some of those things.
All right, Kalen DeBoer, a little bit. We'll hear more from him here in a minute, but scrimmage, A-Day in the books.
Yeah, it was a good scrimmage, a little bit different. They didn't have enough linemen healthy to really have a split squad because with Jaden Roberts being out since getting injured in the week before scrimmage, being in, of course, he is very, very likely going to be the first-team right guard. And then with Parker Brailsford, we know that situation, having a little bit of an off-field mental health type situation. He has not been practicing, so they only have 12 scholarship offensive linemen, and you take those 2 away, you got 10. So you only have enough for 2 full offensive lines on scholarship. Right. So it's very, very difficult. To in my opinion, it'll be interesting next year if they can get those numbers up. And to me, they probably would like to have as many as 15 on scholarship where if they have a more traditional spring game where they have a white and a crimson squad and you split it up. And then it's a little bit easier to follow because all those crazy scoring systems, when you don't have two platoons, it's a little bit crazy, go nuts. Because I actually thought the defense, I think it was 34-28 offense over defense. I thought there was a couple like tackles for loss and stuff where they didn't start putting points on the board, well, based upon the scoring system that they gave you.
Right.
So it was a little bit weird, and it took some getting used to. But the defense got off to a slow start. It was 31-0. The offense came out firing, and what you basically saw is all four quarterbacks got reps. But the majority of the reps went to Jalen Milroe and of course Ty Simpson. But all four of them got work. And then
did Milroe and Simpson look good?
I mean, I thought that if you had to ask me, I thought Milroe, looked pretty decent. But I thought if you want to say the third straight day, I would have said Ty Simpson probably graded the highest, even though in Milroe's defense, he had some drops. I mean, there was 3 or 4 drops where, where he didn't get helped out in some points in time. But again, I'll just say this because I had people sending me stats because they didn't have live stats. They just sort of kept you, it was kept by hand, and the media, the media relations people would give you updates over the loudspeaker, over the intercom, whatever the hell you want to call it, the PA in the press box, and they would keep, because I sure wasn't writing it down, because I'll be honest with you, there is nothing more worthless
than spring scrimmage
stats. I mean, because when I go to scrimmages, the first thing I get asked by a handful of people is, "You got any stats?" No, I don't have any stats. I don't keep stats.
Right.
Because a lot of times it's a controlled scrimmage. They do goal line stuff. They do this, that. Who cares? But even in A-Day, I just think it's worthless. I just think because hell, if it was worth something, Brian Steger would have won a Heisman Trophy coming out of Buckhorn because he was the spring star all the time. And then when the fall came around, no soup for you. So, I mean, I've seen that happen.
Yes.
Ajay Moron, who we all love around here, who never made any plays for Alabama, he was like an MVP his freshman year. Everybody thought he was going to be an All-American because he did in the spring. In the fall, he didn't play. So, I mean, I don't get too up or too down.
They're very misleading.
Yeah,
misleading.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, and there are some stats that were released after the game, but
because if you want a guy to get a lot of numbers in the spring game, you can make that happen.
You can
very
make it
easily.
happen.
You can make it. Yes.
But
the biggest question, though, and a lot of people really wanted to know. You mentioned the offensive line. You mentioned they didn't have a lot of scholarship guys, so that's why they couldn't play both ways. But there was still a lot of attention on those that did play on the offensive side of the ball. And we talked about that going into A-Day. Some of the weak spots or strong spots was along that offensive line. Is there a spot that impressed you, a spot that didn't impress you?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, I thought the O-line did a pretty good job in run blocking. I voted for Jam Miller as MVP. He was named MVP of the game. I thought he and Justice Haynes did some good things in the running game. I thought Richard Young looked good too. So now at the same time, when that happens, then people start panicking about the defense. Why isn't the defense stopping anybody? Why can't they, stop the run? So but I thought the defense, after a slow start, settled in, started getting stops. Because again, if you think about the scoring system, it was 31-0, and then it ended up being 34-28. So the defense started asserting itself, especially. And I'll be honest, Scott, there was no running clock. So nobody knew what quarter it was, if it was the first half, the second half. But people are, is this the second? I guess. I mean, nobody really knew. They took a small break in between, so I guess that was halftime. But I guess that's why they told us beforehand. They don't usually do this. They release the menu in the press box before the game and then tell you no halftime hot dogs. So like I told somebody, I guess there's not really a halftime. Okay, that's what they're doing. They're just they're running through it because if you saw on ESPN, the block was 3 to 5 o'clock. So they're going to play the spring game in that 2-hour window. Okay,
whatever they could get in, that's what they were going to get in to win 2 hours.
And then in the interesting thing about this scrimmage, there was one kickoff, the first kickoff of the game, no more. and then there was no punts at all.
Okay, none. Wow,
no punts, and then there was some place kicking, and Connor Talty, who's the only scholarship place kicker now. James Burnup's the returning scholarship punter. He tried one field goal because I even asked in the press box, "Is Talty hurt?" Because nobody was kicking, but Upton Belafonte, another walk on was kicking. No Connor Talty. You're thinking they're gonna run the scholarship guy out there, right? Well, he tried one kick and he missed a 45, 46 yarder late in the game. So I don't know. It's interesting. They just didn't. They did things in a different way, and so in many ways it's hard to tell. I mean, when people ask you, did they look good? Well, I mean, in certain areas, but I think I will say they've got to get the numbers up in the offensive line. Caden Proctor will be one of those. He was there, by the way. He was there. He was spotted. He'll be in the tackle room.
Tomorrow.
Well, I don't know about tomorrow, but he's
the
definitely
portal
going
does
to be
open tomorrow.
Yeah. So he's gonna be in the portal. He's gonna be back at Alabama. They need another tackle, though. To me, they need one more offensive tackle, and I would even think about getting another interior offensive lineman, just because from a numbers perspective, because that would give you 15 linemen on scholarship. Because what if 3 or 4 get hurt? Because it's possible. And then all of a sudden your depth situation is just not looking good at all. So, I thought, James Brockermeyer did a pretty good job at punter, even though there was a couple of snap issues later in the scrimmage. He got off to a strong start, but I thought if you wanted to ask me what kind of spring he had, I think he was very solid. You're watching the tackle spots. I thought Wilkin Formby did a pretty good job for a young player. He was battling out there. Another one that played some right tackle who looked, more than serviceable was Ola Salinen. And he's really been signed as a guard, but he had to play tackle because they just don't have enough guys. And I thought he looked solid in the game. I thought the transfer receiver, been hearing about him for the whole spring. Yeah. But Jeremy Bernard, he's the one from Michigan State. He had over 100 yards. He had a nice catch from about 48, catch and run from from Jalen Milroe, where she got the majority of Jalen Milroe's yards. But it was a good throw, good catch. And he's a hard-nosed guy. Went up and high-pointed a ball also from Milroe. So I think he's definitely a quality addition. After hearing all the buzz, they didn't really showcase Caleb Odom too much. They targeted him a couple times. He didn't make any big plays, but that doesn't mean anything because, like you said, they can scheme you. There was only one catch from Kobe Prentice, and I think he'll be a bigger part of the passing game, no question about it. But again, I thought overall it was a solid spring. It was tough to tell too much via spring practice, via A-Day, but I think they've got the pieces to have a good team.
Here's Kalen DeBoer talking about the quarterback battle.
How do you think Ty Simpson did today in terms of just command of the offense, performance, and just overall that backup quarterback position? How do you see the growth this spring?
Yeah, I mean, you saw it. He does a great job back there. You got full confidence with a lot of those guys back there. But Ty, I thought, again, he's just been consistent, and gotten better throughout the spring. Never really had any drops in each and every practice. So, I mean, you see what he does out there, and he's accurate. He knows when to put touch on it. I saw the one ball on the deep crosser. He's got good awareness. I thought all the quarterbacks did a better job of pushing the pocket at the right time. That's something I know we've been emphasizing, rather than just sit back there and let that rush on the edges get to you. He had a good feel in all those ways. I think he's got a command of the offense for sure.
That was on Ty Simpson. Let's go on to the phone lines. Mark from Spring Hill is with us. Good morning, Mark.
Doing
good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I was at the game. I guess I stayed about 20 minutes. I did go. I didn't like the format. The thing with me for this is, of course, the crowd I thought was very, very impressive. I think it was the fourth largest for a spring game. Alabama the last 3 or 4 years has not drawn what they drew Saturday. It had gotten down into the 50s and 60s. So the thing that reason I left, though I was going to the Stallions game is one thing, and that kickoff in Birmingham was like at 6 or 6:30. But the other thing, I was kind of surprised. The crowd, it seemed to me that I guess because of the way that it was set up, and everyone sort of scratching their heads, kind of took away from the, sort of the, I don't know, maybe you're not following it. So now it just truly was a scrimmage. I guess you want to, it's not a game like we've seen before. It's a scrimmage. Now, to the positives for me, I thought the team looked disciplined. I thought, they looked like they were real crisp in terms of, getting balls passes out. I saw a lot of what I would call, I don't know, I think we're going to see a lot of disciplined offensive plays, and I don't think you can evaluate the defense at all in this particular scrimmage. I was going to see what your thoughts on that, because defensively, I don't think, like I said, you can make a call on this. Drew, if you'd comment on that, I'll hang up and listen.
I mean, there's not a whole lot. I mean, I thought the defensive line got better as the scrimmage went along. I thought that you saw a lot out of a young linebacker like Justin Oronquo. He ended up with 11 tackles to lead everyone. He's the Canadians guy who enrolled early. He's a French-Canadian kid, and he didn't really play true high school football. I mean, it was a little bit different where he was from, but you could tell he's got the physical tools. I mean, he can run sideline to sideline. He was number 41, on the defensive side, and he did a nice job, and put up a lot of numbers. Now we'll see how much he plays in the fall, and if he can get a spot in the 2 deep, because I think there's some more experienced guys. Like they were holding out guys like Jihad Campbell and people like that, because and Jaheim Otis on the defensive line. That's another thing. They're holding out key pieces to the defense, so that's why in many ways it's hard to get a true gauge of how good they're going to be, and they're not through adding pieces. I mean, I think they definitely want to add a piece or two to the secondary. You saw and he's been creating buzz all spring, the young kids like number 16, Red Morgan, who's the safety from Central Phoenix City. He looked like a good player, very active. You got a younger guy too that I believe he's a redshirt freshman, Bray Hubbard from Gulfport, Mississippi, number 18. He had a big hit back there. Watching him, it was interesting to see what he was doing. It was called back due to being offsides, but in the end zone, Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., who's another true freshman, number 21, wearing his dad's old number, he had an interception, but they called it back for offsides. Really, that was the only turnover the whole day, and it didn't count because they called offsides on the defense. So overall, it was just hard to tell. I mean, Deontay Lawson was out there. He made some plays at middle linebacker. But, again, it was very difficult to get a gauge on the defense in this game. But the thing you did notice is they do have the Zabian Brown. Zabian had a nice tackle for loss inside the 5. He's another true freshman corner that has a chance to be good. So there was young players that flashed. But, again, and Edric Hill made a play. I thought, they always ask you, you've been to these things, they want you to vote on a lineman and a player of the game. Well, I voted Jam Miller player of the game because he made the most plays in the running game.
Right.
And he did score a touchdown. And then I decided to vote on the lineman. It was hard. Tyler Booker won it as far as the offensive line. But one young defensive lineman that caught my eye that played some last year, I believe he's a sophomore now, is James Smith from Carver, Montgomery, number 47. I thought he made several plays where he was in the backfield and even almost had a 4th down stop. And I say almost because they didn't measure it. It looked short, but they gave him the first down. It's hard to tell. But he was flashing, and I saw him in the backfield quite a bit. And so I voted James Smith for my MVP. Didn't win it. Didn't win the Dwight Stevenson lineman of the game, but he was somebody that impressed me.
All right, 7:19. Let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll get more to your phone calls. 256-576-4977. Breaking down A-Day here early on. We got Masters to break down. We got college basketball to talk about. We got all kinds of stuff. But we'll get back to your phone calls as we get a break in here live from Bill Penny Toyota.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a couple of new wrecks. Eastbound 565, mile marker 10, right around Trash Panda Stadium, where they're building the flyover there. 6 vehicles involved in that one. It's going to turn out to be a no injury, but it's definitely backing up traffic back to about County Line Road already. And we got one in Limestone County, 72 westbound at Blackburn Road. Not sure about injuries on that one. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back into the show. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We're live from Bill Penny Toyota on a Monday, 256-576-4977. You can join us if you would like. I said we would go back out there, and that's where we'll go. Pat from Tuscaloosa is with us. Good morning, Pat.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, wanted to talk about the dismal crowd first off. That the 72,000, I was so disappointed that I thought for sure, as beautiful as the weather was going to fill it up. Hey, and that young man that left with 20 minutes into the game, I understand what he was going to Birmingham to watch the Stallions, but he didn't get to see.
But whatever.
Yeah.
One scrimmage to another scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean
exactly. But I felt bad. He didn't get to see any defense. That first, I call it the first half. The first half, and we have a directional coach coaching our defense. I'm concerned about that because he's been watching that offense all spring long. Why did he not know how to stop that offense? I am disappointed in that, guys. I really am. That he should have known how to stop that offense with what defensive players he had. What do you think about that, Scott? Drew?
I think that, one, it's a spring scrimmage to where it can be controlled to do whatever you want it to do. If you want the offense to look good in certain areas, you're going to make the offense and have the ability to make the offense look good in certain areas. If you want the defense to look good in certain areas, you can do things to make the defense look good in certain areas. Spring football is about guys getting reps. It's about guys getting reps at different positions. It's about guys getting reps to understand the new offense, to understand the new defense. I wouldn't be concerned about the offense or defense. I would look at it as the running backs got good carries. They understand how to move in the offense. The quarterbacks learn the defense. They learn the same way on the defensive side. You learn the calls. You learn where you need to be. You learn everything else like that. That's what I think you take away from spring games.
When a scrimmage is not when you don't have two platoons from the standpoint of two, it's not separated.
It's not
into two
one-on-ones
teams
versus twos-on-twos.
Yeah, it's just really hard to tell. I mean, It really is because I wasn't discouraged. It was just kind of hard to follow at times because of the scoring system. And I was just watching for individual players, like, okay, who stands out to me? Because I knew they were going to hold guys out, too, and they do. So that's another reason why it's very difficult to kind of get a gauge on who's good and who's not. But you just try to discern. Okay, what I did discern. They got good running backs. Okay, they got Jan Miller, they got Justice, they got Richard Young, and I thought those guys were good. Even Daniel Hill did some things.
Depth is going to be good there.
I didn't see Kevin Riley, but again, it is what it is. I did see Daniel Hill, so they got good backs. I was impressed, with some of the young defensive backs that I thought made some plays in the game. I already mentioned it, Xavier Brown, Red Morgans, Bray Hubbards. They made some plays. And then Oronquo, I already told you about him, the young linebacker. He's flying around. I told you about James Smith. You're just looking for individual talents. I'm not going to be too concerned about the defense because, again, like we said, and if you want to say something, I mean, in the second half, or whenever that half started, because you don't even know when the hell that started, they started getting a lot of 3-and-outs. They started getting a lot of stops. And I will say, they in the latter half of the scrimmage, you didn't see as much of Milroe, but he still was out there. They put all four of them out there, so the defense saw all four quarterbacks.
And the thing is, so you don't know on the defensive strategy. They could have said, guys, let's not blitz. Let's not do this. Let's not play certain coverages. Let's not do, let's do just certain small packages versus the whole entire.
And Pat's right about the weather. The weather was perfect. I thought it was a really good crowd considering.
I thought 73 was good.
I don't think it was really 73. I think it was more like between 60 to 65, which is really good. I mean, it's about 3/4 of the way full.
That's about where most A-days are going these days, though, too.
It wasn't full. And, I remember on the show Friday, I didn't pick that big. I was conservative. I picked 50,000. And now my traveling partner, Brett Beard, had picked 75, I think, on his show. And so he was closer than I was. But I just thought it was going to be – I thought it would be a really good crowd. But I just – like you said, Scott, the spring games don't have the impact they used to.
I mean, look,
they're all on television.
You going back about
form.
3-4 years ago, though, every spring game was on TV. This year, even ESPN is not putting as many spring games. They kind of
walked it back a little bit.
They've walked a lot of that back, and hey, you can always look at it this way.
Right.
At least they didn't have a hot dog eating contest.
Hey, but guys, first off, did y'all get a big kick out of? I've been dogging Miss Adams on her ability to evaluate speed. I was wrong. Cole was a surprise. And I was shocked at how many targets he had, and that he had a very good spring game.
Cole
thanks for
Adams,
the phone call, Pat.
Solid kid, basically a redshirt freshman from Owasso, Oklahoma. He'll be a slot guy. Hadn't heard a ton about him in the spring, but he had a good A-day, so he's going to be a guy that has a chance to work and be a factor, no doubt about it. But, and did I watch one damn snap or a highlight of the hot dog? Hell no, I didn't. And I saw some stupid headline on CBS. Miss making they might be taking the spring game in a different direction, not really focusing on football. And I thought, and I wonder why they hadn't won an SEC championship since Johnny Bott was coaching. But let's wonder about that.
At least they got Joey Chestnut to Oxford, though.
Slid into his DM. Let's get Joey Chestnut to Oxford, Mississippi, and let's have him eat a hot dog because we're going to get our ass whooped in the fall. We're not going to win an SEC championship. I can pretty much guarantee you that. And we'll see if you make the playoff. Well, you might. Now, I don't know. You couldn't handle Quinshawn Moneybags. You let him go to Ohio State, but you bought a bunch of other players. But we'll see if Ole Miss can make the playoff. They got a roster where they'll give them a good shot. Now, I'm not convinced they're winning the SEC. I'm sorry. Because, what's Lane Kiffin ever won when he wasn't at Florida Atlantic besides a press conference? And he won another this week. But
he did win one.
And look, I had no idea. I didn't know until Thursday.
He brought Joey Chestnut in. Joey Chestnut came in with, a minute left, ate 20 hot dogs, and won the competition in Oxford.
I sat down, and Steve Molson looks at me and is like, hey, did you know Joey Chestnut's coming to Oxford? I said, what?
Yeah.
He said they're having a hot dog eating contest.
They did.
And then he about fell out of his chair because I said on the air, thank God Lane Kiffin's not the head coach at the University of Alabama when you make a mockery of your spring having a hot dog eating contest. And they wonder why they don't win anything but a tailgate. I mean, really.
Anyway. We got to get a break.
I bet they went to the Stallions game after that, too, to have some more hot dogs.
One bad day to another. Let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll get back out to the phone lines, 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a big backup eastbound on 565. It's because of a wreck. Mile marker 10's right where the cranes are, where they're building the flyover. That traffic's backed all the way back up to the county line overpass. Got 6 vehicles involved in that one. Got one in Limestone County, 72 westbound at Blackburn Road, and just got one near Moulton, Highway 33 and County Road 9. That one's got an overturned vehicle. You get 2 pieces of hand-breaded juicy tender signature chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff, North Parkway, and now South Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
If you enjoy 97.7 ESPN The Zone for all the best in sports talk, you'll love Talk Radio WZZN on 97.7 HD2. Don't have an HD radio? No worries. Download the app by searching for Talk Radio WZZN on your phone or visit the website at Talk Radio WZZN. Talk Radio WZZN features the best in talk from Fox News Radio during the day, plus Bill O'Reilly and his No Spin News at 6. Your home of the Rocket City Trash Pandas is Talk Radio WZZN.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons make learning fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. And now try Babbel for free by texting radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopé. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back into the program on a Tuesday morning. 256-576-4977. We are live from Bill Penny Toyota. Let's go out to the phone lines. Wolverine Dan is with us. Good morning, sir.
Hey, fellas. Good morning. Real quick. I won't take long. I appreciate Pat from Tuscaloosa, his passion, his love for his team. Judy, there's nothing wrong with that. It's all good. But this is where it gets distorted a little bit. Scott, very good rebuttal. It's a practice. You just need to see what each player can do. Plus, players are playing against each other that are 4 and 5 stars. So you're going to get a little battle here, okay? So here's the problem that I call him DeBose. I can't remember his name, the coach. Anyway, the bottom line is this. This is what the coach has to deal with. You know, the fan base like that, which is not fair to the coach. Okay, do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever get too high or too low over a spring game. I never, because it's so meaningless. I just try to, look for some players that stood out a little bit.
Yeah.
See, and hopefully there's no injuries. You try to see if they're developing depth. It's just, to me, it's not. There's not a whole lot that you can discern from a spring game.
But there's a lot of people like that. That's the disturbing thing, and it's not fair for the coaching staff. Okay. I mean, get a grip, everybody. Okay, this is just a practice. See what the players look like, and then we'll go from there. Bama's going to be in the playoffs, so I don't understand that. That's the one thing about this football team and the fans I don't understand. I love my team, don't get me wrong, and I'm very grateful for national championship. But you know what? I'm not the coach. Let the coach coach. See you later.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, look, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of people that, because your team, and I say your team, I mean, if your favorite team gets out there on the spring football field, you watch it with great intent because you get caught up in the fact that they're on the field playing a game, and so you think of it as a game. Lots of times these spring things, they get 15 practices in the spring, 15. A-days count, or your spring games count as one of those 15 practices.
Right.
Coaches look at it sometimes, and over these past 3 or 4 years, a lot of coaches' mentalities have changed towards spring games because, number one, you don't want to get anybody hurt.
Yeah.
That's the first and foremost thing. You don't want anybody to get hurt. And number two, you want to get some guys some experience in these games. And with the transfer portal opening after spring, the day after spring games, you want to try to convince some of these guys that they're still in the mix now for starting spots or roster spots come the fall. So you don't want to lose anybody.
You also build relationships because, there was a quick story that I heard about Tyler Booker where he was in study hall and Nick Sheridan all of a sudden calls him out of the blue and just tells him, well, Booker, I really appreciate the job you've been doing as a leader and how you've been trying to help the young guys along. Yeah. And I really appreciate your attitude and what you've done this spring. And as Booker was saying, I was really shocked. I've never been called by a coordinator or, anybody like that just to thank me for the job that I was doing and tell me what a good job I was doing. You don't want to know why? Because you got to relate to the players now. You've got to build a personal relationship or
you're going.
You're going to exit stage left because, again, they're going to have opportunities.
Yes.
I mean, because it's very, very difficult to to navigate the third-party stuff where you're having people, okay, X team's reaching out to my Uncle Jed over here and telling me they'll pay me this, and then, I can come over here and start. It's up to these coaches to build the relationships with the players. And, again, that's another reason why you can't discern too much from Mayday, because Wolverine, Dan just mentioned it. You kind of mentioned it earlier. The portal's opening. I think they're going to – I'm going to throw a number out there.
Well, it opens tomorrow. Guys can start putting their names in.
I think Alabama will add, if you wanted to ask me how many, I said 5 to 6. We'll see. Because, again, you got to see who leaves first. Because I know Kalen DeBoer earlier in the spring said they had at least a few scholarships open. Well, there'll probably be some more open. So I'm being conservative, but I would say 5 to 6, because I think, we already talked about it. Offensive line. They definitely need to get the offensive line scholarship numbers up. I think they would like to have another experienced DB or two. I think they would like, if they could, there's no question to me that they would take, if they could get a special wide receiver or a special defensive lineman. Now, that I don't think those are huge priorities, but you're not going to turn down a player like that. And I just think overall, but I think the two biggest need areas are, experience and depth along the offensive line and then the defensive backfield. I don't think there's any question. And who knows? We didn't see much of Connell Charlty. That's what I was kind of watching. I know that's weird, but Will Reichert's gone. I was watching the place kicking. Like, okay, who are the place kickers? How much is Connor Charlty going to kick? He didn't kick much. And then he missed it. It was wide. Are they going to be in the looking for a scholarship kicker to come in and compete? You don't know, because and like I told you, Scott, they didn't punt. I would think that they would like James Burnap. He did a good job last year, but Talty has very limited experience. So are you going to try to find a kicker in the transfer portal, or are you satisfied with what you got? So that's kind of interesting, because I'd heard some things about maybe they were, keeping an eye out on the portal for a kicker. So you never know, man. But I just think there are certain areas where Alabama will be in the market for, I think at least 5 to 6 additions. And these additions, depending on who they are, and that's counting Caden Proctor now. So Caden's already one up.
That's one.
So, and you would think Caden's going to be a starter. You may get both of your tackles from the portal. So, to me, to judge the offensive line right now is kind of hard, because you don't know who all is going to be the starters quite yet, and who all is going to be on that depth chart.
All right, you know what? And Jimmy Lay brings up a good point, and coaches had talked about it before. Hey, look, let's bring some interest back into the spring games, and let's scrimmage. Why not have team scrimmage against each other?
Yeah.
Whatever. Use that as one of your 15 practices.
People have talked about that, bringing in an opponent. I mean, I know Jake Crane's a big proponent of that. He joins us weekly during football season, and he's in favor of doing that. I mean, it doesn't count record-wise. It's just you
it's one of your 15 practices.
It's like the NFL does. The NFL does this during training camps where they go,
and you can control it however you want. The two coaches, you get together, you control it how you want. If you want to do 4 quarters, you do 4 quarters.
Then
you do
that would be a way to see your offense and your defense go against somebody else and have a better feel for what things look like.
All right.
I can understand the point there.
Let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll get back out to the phone line, 7:44 on a Monday morning. Let's get a break in. Phone lines and phone calls when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Still looking at a major slowdown on 565 eastbound. It's because of a 6-vehicle accident at mile marker 10. That's right about Trash Panda Stadium. That one's got traffic backed up to County Line Road trying to go eastbound. 72 westbound at Blackburn Road in Limestone County. And we've got in Lawrence County, 33 at County Road 9. That's in Moulton. That one's got an overturned vehicle. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Everyone's favorite place to celebrate Cinco de Mayo this year is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. For Cinco de Mayo, Coralejos Mexican Grill will feature $3 regular margaritas and all nachos will be half off. And there will be even more surprises. Celebrate Cinco de Mayo this year at Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Spring is in the air, making it a great time to make plans to visit the Lodge at Guntersville State Park. The Lodge at Guntersville State Park sits on a cliff overlooking beautiful Guntersville Lake with vistas from the cliffside rooms as well as the Pinecrest Room, the Lodge's premier restaurant. And as the weather warms, enjoy the gorgeous pool that overlooks the lake as well. The park also features cabins, a beach, and a boat launch, so bring your boat to take the fun to the lake. The Lodge at Guntersville State Park. Book your visit today.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Happy Monday morning. What a beautiful start to the week it is. Let's go out to the phone lines. Let's stay out there. It's been a busy Monday morning, a productive Monday, but a busy Monday. Brandon is with us. Good morning, Brandon.
What's up?
Morning. So Lane Kiffin had a hot dog eating contest.
Yes, he
supposedly.
did. And he brought Joey Chestnut in.
He slid into his DMs.
Yes, and Joey Chestnut ate 20 hot dogs, I believe, in the final minute or whatever to win the contest.
Well, Lane Kiffin tried to have a hot dog eating contest at the dorms when he worked at Alabama, and it didn't work out so well, so you figured he'd learn his lesson.
Well, somebody ate a hot dog.
I watched a little bit just out of boredom of the Scarlet and Gray game.
Oh, yeah. Ohio State, yeah.
Oh, dear Lord. I was ready to bash myself in the face with a shovel. It was, oh, man, the verbal slurping that they were doing of that football team, they could not help but every fourth sentence talk about all of the Alabama transfers that they got. You would have thought they were on the Showcase Showdown of The Price is Right, and they got both showcases. It was.
Well, when you spend $30 million,
yeah, or whatever they spent, they definitely were. They definitely brought in some reinforcements. There's no doubt about it. But like I texted you, you know, they had to go get some winners because they don't know what that is.
It amazed me that like how much influence they put on that. Like the 30 minutes I watched it, they just could not shut up about it. And I thought, okay, I was like, well, this is getting a little Brent Musburgerish, and kind of, you know, if you didn't say it enough times by now, everybody understands you got 4 players from Alabama. We got it.
Yeah, so. I mean, they did, no doubt. I mean, and you know, 3 of them are going to play huge roles, like as far as Seth McLaughlin, Caleb Downs. I mean, they're both, you know, but both Caleb's is maybe the best safety in the country. Seth McLaughlin, I think they definitely see him. You know, starting at center, and Julian Sands is good a young quarterback prospect as there is. We still don't know how good he's going to be, but again, that's another really good addition for them. He was the number 1 prep quarterback in the country, so they got 3 really good players from Alabama, no doubt about it.
And then you make comments about, oh well, he looks so good because he understands the snap count now. Really?
I mean, I think Seth's a good player. I thought he had a good career at Alabama. Something was off last year. Something between him and Milroe didn't mesh. I hope he has a really good year. No question about it. I think he needed a fresh start. He certainly got skins on the wall at Alabama. He got his degree. I think he got his master's too. Kid's a brilliant guy. But I think, you know, just let him have a fresh start. I mean, I wouldn't give him too much grief. He's one kid, like, you know, him moving on, I'm not going to be mad about it. You know, I know Coach Saban wanted him to stay. But, you know, he put in a good, 4 years at Alabama. He redshirted. He played 3. He started most of the last 2 years. He helped them win an SEC title, get to a college football playoff, play for a national championship. I mean, Seth McLaughlin did a lot of things, but he graduated, so he had freedom of movement, man. Right. And I'm not going to get frustrated with a kid that felt like he wasn't in a great situation. They're changing coaches. He's not familiar with the staff. He and Milroe didn't have great chemistry, so go on and go somewhere else. And I think it's significant though that Ohio State wanted him. I mean, they're as good as any program in the country supposedly. Wow. And they are considered an elite blue blood football program, and they aggressively went after him. They aggressively went after Caleb Downs. They aggressively went after Quinshawn Judkins. So they certainly are going all in for this season.
They went after Chip Kelly too to get him as the offensive coordinator
said they were just ranting and raving about Chip Kelly and, him coming to Ohio State. So.
All right, Brandon, thanks for the phone call, bud. I want to get one more in here real fast. I want to get Matt in real fast. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, guys. How are y'all today?
Good, sir.
So are we not a fan of the hot dog eating contest?
No. I mean, I guess it's outside of the box, but that means outside of the playoff.
Personally, I don't mind it. I think Lane knows that the spring game, it's all about the fans, and I think it brings a little more excitement to it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some other schools start to take some more unconventional methods towards spring games now. But you're right. I mean, you can get away with a lot more with championships under your belt. And, now he's just got to prove that he can win one.
Well, I mean, he's got to have a good roster. I mean, there's no question about it. As I said earlier, I don't know about winning an SEC championship, but I do think he can make the playoff with the roster that he's had if it gels. Now, we don't know that yet. That's a great question. But on paper, they have a really good football. Have a chance to have a really good football team.
The hot dog contest was one of 4 things that Ole Miss did different during their spring game. They held a slam dunk contest with the players, a tug of war with the players, and 7-on-7 flag football game.
Yeah. Well, they tackle like that sometimes. Especially with Wild Turkey being the OC or the DC, excuse me. Oh, he is. I'll give him credit for that. He's comfortable in his own skin, and he's not afraid to try things. The one thing you'll say about Lane Kiffin is he's fearless. He may drive you to drink if you're, he's on your side at times, but he'll definitely he's definitely different. No doubt about that.
By the way, Joey Chestnut consumed 20 hot dogs. The next closest was 8.
8. Got you.
Golly, that dude's a beast.
And he came in with, like, little time left. I mean,
of course.
Yeah.
Lane probably slid him a few hundred, and he came in there.
Oh,
There
man.
you go.
Well, I appreciate your time, guys.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yep. They called it the Grove Bowl games. Points were awarded to each team, either red or blue, for winning or placing in certain events. The final event was a 7-on-7 flag football game in which kicker Caden Davis almost won it for the blue team with a 65-yard field goal.
I got you.
There you go. So that's what they did there in Ole Miss.
I would say this, that Wild Turkey at times when he's your defensive coordinator, you look like you're playing flag football.
Trey Harris had a 360 dunk to help get some points in there as well.
Nice.
They had a 7-on-7 game. So Ole Miss really went completely different. We talk about how Alabama went untraditional with their
I just
spring
wonder what
game.
a 360 dunk, how that helps you win a game in the fall. That's what I'd ask. What's he going to do, a 360 route and get open?
Well,
I mean, you know.
We talked about not putting too much emphasis on a spring game, the results,
Not
the
the
stats,
results.
and everything.
But
Is that going to the extreme of us saying that?
I mean, if you're going to, it doesn't even sound like they practiced like the last practice of spring. I mean, like, you're sacrificing a practice for a dunk contest and Joey Chestnut, man. It is a time to get better in practice. I mean, you could have done a dunk contest and Joey Chestnut after a spring game.
Well, Texas A&M transfer Walter Nolan was part of the tug-of-war team, and his team won rather easily.
Oh, I'm sure they did. I mean, it's in his contract. I'm sure. We'll see if he actually makes plays in the fall. I saw a little bit out of him at A&M, but I didn't see 5-star production. But you know, we'll see what Wild Turkey can get out of him.
All right, we're about done with our number one. Oh, anyway. Travis Reier is going to join us at the top of the hour. We'll recap a scrimmage from Alabama where no hot dogs were consumed, no tug-of-war was played, or a slam dunk contest was held. I don't know. A lot of Rebel fans may liked it. I'm wondering how Rebel fans actually felt about it on Saturday. But anyway, Travis Reier is going to join us at the top of the hour. Scrimmage was in the books. A very, very, very successful weekend for Alabama on the baseball diamond as they did something yesterday. Was it yesterday or is it? Yeah, well, they did something yesterday that came against a number one team that had not been done in a long, long time.
I never would have seen this coming after the way the trip to Lexington went and then blowing the South Alabama game, during the midweek. I didn't see, this kind of series. And then to get off to and dig a 3-0 hole early and then 5-0 on Friday and then come back. They made a run at it on Friday night, but it still didn't look great. But it just goes to show you, man, baseball's a funny game, how it can turn.
To shut out the number one ranked team in the country, impressive.
And then how they won the game on Saturday, which ended up being a sellout because everybody, flowed in everything. And then to win it on a throwaway up the line, it just that kind of set the tone for Sunday.
All right, Travis Reier will join us next. We'll dissect A-Day, baseball, softball. We got it all. Travis Reier will help us in a minute.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Unlike other credit cards that decline sports betting transactions or treat them as a cash advance, the GBank Visa Signature Card can load directly to your favorite sportsbook apps. G.bank/VSiN.
The NBA regular season came to an end on Sunday. Now it's on to the play-in round. This Tuesday night, the Lakers take on the Pelicans. LA minus 115 on the money line. New Orleans minus 105. Pelicans are 1.5-point favorites at home. The over-under 225.5. The Kings host Golden State on Tuesday. Sacramento a 2.5-point underdog at home. The Kings at plus 115 on the money line. Golden State minus 135. Over-under 225.5. Looking ahead to Wednesday, Miami at Philadelphia. The Sixers by 4.5. The Heat at plus 165. Atlanta's a 3.5-point underdog at Chicago. The Hawks plus 125.
Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And with that, we say welcome back to hour number 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. In hour 1, we recap some Alabama scrimmage. We talked some Ole Miss scrimmage. We talked some hot dog eating contest. We took your phone calls, got a lot in. We still have a lot to get through in just an hour. We've got to touch on the Masters. We've got to touch on Kentucky basketball, but we'll get all that here coming up in just a little bit. But let's step backwards again and let's recap what was a fantastic weather day Saturday inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. 73,000 on hand for Kalen DeBoer's debut on the sidelines as Alabama head coach in his first A-Day.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it's going to be interesting to see the fallout with the transfer portal. We're going to talk about that and more with our next guest. He joins us on a weekly basis. He is the senior analyst since 2003 for BamaOnline.com, which is part of On3Sports.com now. Also does a great job with the BamaOnline.com YouTube channel. And they were very busy this weekend with, reaction from A-Day, recruiting news coming in, a couple of commitments for the Crimson Tide, and there's some analysis there. Also, the basketball news, a transfer portal edition for basketball already, some departures as well. And then we know baseball and softball with big series this weekend. So there's a lot going on, and that's why we have Travis Reier with us this morning. Travis, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We are good. I will say before we talk A-Day, you said Scotty Scheffler versus the world. Good call.
It was a conversation going into the tournament. Scotty Scheffler versus the field. And, that's some Tiger Woods territory we're talking about. And I don't know if he really had his best game all week, but it was good enough. That was my prediction. Scotty Scheffler or one of the live guys.
There you go.
Scotty against the PGA Tour guys right now isn't much of a contest.
No, it's not, but he gets his second win in 3 years. And then we had an interesting A-Day, Travis, an A-Day that it's difficult kind of to discern because we didn't have a true two-team, crimson versus white game. It was offense versus defense. Interesting scoring system. What were some of your big takeaways from A-Day, the first one under Kalen DeBoer?
Well, early on it was all offense, and it felt a little bit like Pro Bowl defense. Watching Alabama on that side of the ball. But, I'll give those guys credit. They sort of answered the bell as the scrimmage moved along. But I thought it was interesting, some of the personnel groupings we saw. They came right out with two backs, Jam and Justice, and were able to hit for some big gains on the ground. I think we went into it anticipating a lot of fireworks through the air. And what we saw, too, was some physicality in the run game, which probably shouldn't have come as a surprise, especially if Jaden Roberts was going to play in the scrimmage at the one guard position to go along with Tyler Booker. And, I know they wanted to keep it pretty vanilla, but there were some things you could take away from it. I thought the quarterback room looked about as advertised.
especially the first three guys. I thought Austin Mack is sort of that fourth guy. It was a little bit subjected to some imbalance in terms of pass protection and maybe the offensive line that he was working with there down the depth chart. But, again, the defense, you wondered about the physicality on that side because early on it wasn't just Jam and Justice. It was Richard Young running through people. And so that was a good thing, seeing those backs perform at that level. But wanted to see more physicality, and it showed up eventually. I thought all in all, if you're an Alabama fan, it was exactly the kind of spring game you wanted to see. It was pretty quick, pretty efficient. Both sides of the ball showed some nice flashes, and you got out of it without anything in the way of major injuries.
Yeah, at the quarterback battle, Jalen Mills. I mean, I don't know if I'd call it a quarterback battle. It's almost like a quarterback learning process. Which one came out in spring and looked like that they have a better understanding right now of the offense that Kalen DeBoer and company want to use?
Yeah, I thought, for both those guys, again, it was interesting just some of the concepts fundamentally that were in play with early on. I think you think with Kalen DeBoer coming in there, quarterback involvement in the run game isn't going to be a part of it. If Saturday was any indication, might be more than what we saw even from Tommy Reese in Alabama a year ago, because they come out, they run the sort of power zone read, and they're reading it. It doesn't look like it's predetermined, both Jalen and Ty. So that was interesting, but also seeing those guys sort of work through their progressions. I think we saw some improvement in the little bit that we did get to see on Saturday. Jalen was victimized, I thought, by a couple balls that could have been caught.
Right.
Jaron Hamilton, I guess, comes to mind. Emmanuel Henderson had a catchable ball, and they also missed some throws. So I thought there was some good and bad with both those guys. I thought Dylan Lonergan was really, really impressive again. I mean, every time we get to see this guy in sort of scrimmage situations, he looks totally at ease in the pocket and getting the ball out fast and accurately. So there were good things. And obviously Austin Mack still in the developmental stages, but you see the things that they like about a guy who's 6'6" and can get the ball out pretty efficiently and also on time and accurately. So, there was good things. They didn't go too crazy. They seemed to have sort of a concept or two that they really wanted to put out there on Saturday, and that's what those guys were essentially asked to work with.
Yeah, and then I thought we saw some young defensive players. I know you talked about it, Travis. They got off to a slow start at the D, but and we really didn't. It was hard to tell when they had halftime. But in the second part of the scrimmage, the defense started getting stops and scoring points. And one of the young guys you couldn't help but notice, and I started noticing him early because he was making a lot of plays. And again, I don't know where he'll be on the depth chart come fall, but it's obvious that Justin Oronquo has some talent.
He does. And he plays downhill. I thought he and Jeremiah Alexander had some nice moments there down the depth chart a little bit. With Jihad out, it was Justin Jefferson working primarily with Deontay. But I agree, for a guy that was, playing football abroad not too long ago, to jump into this level of competition and look as good as he did, I wasn't anticipating that. But he showed you some things, I think, naturally that he brings to the table. He can really get downhill, aggressive, good tackler, too, and also showed you some things in space and pass coverage and keeping things to limited gains and able to do that sort of stuff. So I agree. I thought he was impressive, on the back end. You hear transfer portal talk both ways, I think, for this Alabama secondary. I think you saw some things that would lead you to understand why that's the case too. I think primarily, you think about fundamental core players for that back end. I think Damani Jackson sort of still looks like one of those guys. Keon Sabb, obviously. Malachi, obviously. But then you got some interesting scenarios at that Husky position with a newcomer like Red Morgan, who, I think as much as anything, you just wonder physically, is he going to be at that point to handle everything that comes with that position? Devontae Smith, more of a veteran player in that mix as well. And again, between the offensive line and the back end, that's an area where Kalen's been pretty transparent about perhaps going that direction here in the coming days with the portal.
Yeah, one of the things that the portal can giveth and the portal can taketh, young guys usually at this point end up in the portal because they know they're going to be behind someone. They may not get to play. Was there some young guys, though, that we maybe kind of glossed over that kind of impressed you on Saturday, that maybe impressed the coaching staff?
Yeah, I think, throughout the spring, Morgan is a guy we've heard a lot about on the back end. Sabian Brown at corner is another one. I thought you could see Wise Mincy, his size and his length and athleticism could be a real factor. Jalen Mbakwe is a tremendous athlete. There's obviously still some growth that needs to occur there in terms of becoming more of a full-time defensive player. But he has all the attributes that you certainly want in that position. At safety, it's interesting because of the depth there. You anticipated Sabb and Malachi Moore being the first two guys up, but you kind of wondered where would it go from there. And I thought Peyton Woodyard as an early enrollee showed you some encouraging things. Bray Hubbard is a guy that probably doesn't get talked about enough because I think the expectation was there would be some other guys that would jump in there ahead of him, but he shows you some good things as well. But I think they probably already had the discussions about, where they might be focused coming up in the next week or so on the back end of the defense. And it's not just in terms of, starter quality type guys. I mean, you need legitimate depth because, the chances are you're not going to go 13, 14, 15 games without losing a guy or two during the course of a season. So you've got to have quality and some experience that kind of blends in there together.
Yeah, and I thought I mentioned it before you came on with us, a guy that really caught my eye on the defensive line, and I know Freddie Roach is trying to develop some depth there, but I thought the young sophomore James Smith played well.
He did. He showed up a couple of different times, and that's a good thing, I think, too, from a pass rush perspective. If he's able to be that active and that much of a sort of disruptive force, that's something that they really need in pass rush situations. So, I thought that, as far as edge guys, you're still going to be interested to see how that plays out as they move into fall camp with Q Robinson, Keanu Coote, Quay Rustal, and they ask those guys to do some different things. It's not just bring it off the edge. Edge setting early in the scrimmage wasn't particularly great. That includes the corners and some of that too. I mean, those guys have got to show some physicality in that regard. That got better, I thought, as the scrimmage moved along. But, James Smith, I think for sure. You think about some of those, as you said, second-year guys like James Smith, like Edric Hill, some of these guys that perhaps can take that next step.
Well, there's no doubt A-Day will be talking about this for a little while, and there's a lot to think about going into the fall. There was a lot of excitement over the weekend, but I tell you, Travis, Alabama baseball provided even more excitement with number 1 Arkansas in town and taking not 1 but 2 out of 3 from the Hogs.
You never know in baseball, man.
You don't, and especially it's like football or basketball. You take care of business at home. That goes a long way. Now, Alabama's yet to sweep a conference opponent at home, but 3 for 3 on series wins now in SEC play. Which, if you're going to get swept on the road pretty consistently, you better at least win series at home. So we get that at this point. This team at the Joe is capable of taking care of business against big-time competition. The ability to bounce back, and really after giving up that lead in the ninth on Saturday night, that felt pretty ominous. Like, okay, this is where Arkansas, a number 1 team, kind of really makes you pay for that. And perhaps breaks your heart to the extent of sweeping you on Sunday. So the margin for error is so slim, even with your closer out there. But to gut it out and really benefit from, an untimely mistake by Arkansas, it just swung everything. And then Zane Adams to just throw the game he did on Sunday, pretty impressive. I know this Arkansas team offensively maybe isn't up to some of the previous standards that they've had in Fayetteville, but to close out Arkansas in a rubber game like that was really, really encouraging, I think.
Yeah, and then the development of Zane Adams, because they've had injuries with Riley Quick, and they've, the pitching staff didn't have a ton of depth. But if he can develop into a frontline SEC guy the rest of the season, that's huge for the rotation.
He looked like that guy for sure. I mean, it was like I was watching Wade LeBlanc all over again or something.
Blast from the past,
really,
yep.
Yeah, took care of business, and so now coming up in the not too distant future, it becomes more about, okay, you got to take care of business at home. But again, at some point, and when this team goes to Mississippi for back-to-back weekends, that's where you're going to have to make up some ground. But with where they're at in the SEC standings, right, I guess you're thinking before the SEC tournament, you'd like to be at 13, 14 wins as far as an NCAA regional bid. And, they're kind of tracking that right now, but it's likely going to take a little bit more, certainly, than what we've seen from them on the road to get to where they want to go.
Yeah, and then a really good pitching performance softball-wise on Saturday, a 2-0 win for Caleb Beaver, but then a rough one in the circle yesterday, Travis.
Yeah, I just don't have the pitching depth right now. I think Brisky and Time can be, a really good option, and she has been at times, but right now, I can't give enough credit to Kayla Beaver, because whether she realizes it or not, I think everybody else does, that every one of her starts are huge for this team.
Yeah.
In terms of their ability to win games in a league like the Southeastern Conference right now. So she's been everything they've needed her to be. You're right. Yesterday, as that game kind of moved along, it just got pretty ugly there with what they were giving up to A&M's offense. But still got a chance to win the series, and anytime Beaver's out there with the ball in the circle, you kind of like their chances right now.
Well, and then basketball-wise, they honor the Final Four team, and yet the roster turnover has already started, Travis. We've seen, Rylan Griffin go into the portal, Davin Cosby as well. As NATO always tells us, you got to expect at least half your roster to be flipped. Alabama already replacing Rylan Griffin, which is kind of surreal. The Final Four is barely over a week old, and now Rylan Griffin has moved on, and his replacement has already been brought in, and it's a guy that's got some Tuscaloosa ties in Chris Youngblood.
Yeah, physical guard, or at least has that look at 6'4" and about 220 pounds, and you're thinking he's maybe going to be more of a stretch 3 or something, but then you see he shoots 40+% from 3. So he aligns nicely. He's also an 80+% free throw shooter. You watch his highlights, and it's a guy with some mid-range game, so you wonder how that's going to translate. It's frees and threes, as we know with Nate, but there's been some green light on occasion. We saw Aaron Estrada get a little bit of the green light, especially once it gets down to championship time. You're just trying to get buckets any way you can get them. But, and with Mallett, they're bringing in from Pepperdine, they stay old. I mean, that's one of the big goals now in college football and certainly college basketball. Yeah. Can you stay old? And, they've already got 2 guys coming in that you look at them statistically, they're almost exactly the same from last season. And, Nate's had good luck too with guys stepping up a level. And what I like about Youngblood is, he was at Kennesaw for 3 years. So you expected him by the end of that kind of third year, or that third season, to be the sort of player he was at that level. Then he goes up a level to USF and he sustains it, right? There wasn't much in the way of a drop off. So, Nate's had some good fortune with the guys like Mark Sears and Estrada and Grant Nelson in terms of playing up going up a level or so when it comes to college basketball.
No question about that. Well, Travis, it was a very busy weekend for BamaOnline.com. Let everybody know how to continue to connect with you. I know you guys talked recruiting throughout the weekend as well, football, getting a couple guys. But let everybody know what's going on at Bama Online.
Yeah, a lot of everything right now between football hoops, all the roster stuff, recruiting, portal about to fully open. It's going to be nuts. But we'll have you covered right there with us at BamaOnline.com, and also on our YouTube channel, where coming up a little bit later this morning, I'll be joined by Tim Watts, Andrew Bone, Jimmy Stein, and Steve Wiltfong will be on the show later today. So definitely want to check out the YouTube channel for BOL as well.
Thanks, Travis.
Thanks, guys.
Let's get a break in. Talking Ball returns from Bill Penny Toyota, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Still got traffic backed up eastbound on 565. Had a 6-car wreck about mile marker 10. That's near Trash Panda Stadium. Turned out to be a no injury, but it's definitely a slowdown for traffic. That traffic's backed all the way back to the county line overpass. 72 westbound at Blackburn Road in Limestone County should be clearing. In Lawrence County, overturned vehicle on Highway 33 at County Road 9. That's near Moulton. May still be working on that one. And sounds like we may have a train blocking Clinton downtown. Should be moving in the next 10 minutes or so. Snelling can help with admin, accounting, or business support personnel. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flosa Premier. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flo tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flo, think fun for everyone.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of iconic casinos, world-class shows, dining, and entertainment. Las Vegas. With flights starting as low as just $79, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Las Vegas. Book nonstop to Las Vegas now at flybreeze.com.
If you knew a local restaurant was featured on America's Best Restaurants on YouTube's Bring the Heat, would you not want to try it? Of course you would. So come on down to Lo Capone's and enjoy authentic Italian food and live entertainment daily. Everything is made fresh at Lo Capone's. Mama's secret lasagna recipe, the pizza dough, the sauces, all made fresh daily. And Lo Capone's bar is fully stocked to round out your dining experience. In Florence and now in Huntsville on University Drive. Come on down to Lo Capone's.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond, welcome back into the show. Coming up here in just a little bit, we're going to talk Masters. The 88th edition of the Masters is in the books from Augusta National. But over the weekend, Kentucky introduced Mark Pope as their new head basketball coach.
In an interesting way.
They did it in style. They brought back the entire 1996 national championship
No hot dog eating contest.
No hot dog eating contest. And it was packed. Rupp Arena was packed for the announcement. Then Mark Pope takes to the podium.
Yeah.
And Mark Pope takes a shot at the John Calipari regime. Take a listen.
And as we go through this journey, we're here to win banners in Nashville. Because you guys turn out in Nashville like nobody else, and that matters.
That, of course, making reference to John Calipari not putting a lot of emphasis on winning the SEC basketball championship.
Well, he needs to win an NCAA tournament game first. You know, I know he won the press conference, and
he did.
They came out ready, and they came out swinging, and Kentucky's got passion for college basketball unlike any other. I mean, they total, and I think they were determined to outdo the Arkansas press conference. They had several thousand.
Yes, they did.
Inside Bud Walton Arena, but I mean, they just kept having to let people in. I saw the lines outside, the Rupp Arena. It was nuts. I mean, I think it ended up being close to a sellout, which is the capacity of Rupp Arena.
They were not going to let Arkansas win this one.
22,000 people that were at a press conference. So, yeah, I mean, without a doubt, it was a crazy atmosphere, and Pope was a part of arguably the greatest team in school history, and they brought just about all those guys back. It was really cool. It was a really cool moment, and really shows the passion that the Big Blue Nation has, and we'll see how Pope does. I still think, certainly it wasn't the sexiest hire, but it still may be as good a hire as they could make. I mean, I know that there was guys that they wanted that had skins on the wall, national championships. They would have been interested in Billy Donovan, but as basically Mitch Barnhart said, he kind of bristled at it. He didn't really want to wait, and so he felt like Pope was a great fit. So they didn't wait for Billy, and who knows if they would have got the answer they wanted. Jay Wright didn't want to come out of retirement, and you couldn't get Nate Oates or Dan Hurley. So again, sometimes though, as it's been pointed out, pretty much the last three national championship coaches, Calipari, Tubby Smith, and Rick Pitino, they weren't the first choice for Kentucky. Sometimes the first choice is not the best choice. And so, again, people forget, Rich Rodriguez, we love Rich Rod, all right? He's been nice to us, but he was the first one offered, not Nick Saban. Right. So these coaching searches can be very, very weird. And but it does sound like that the Big Blue Nation has definitely come around to one of their own getting the job, and we wish Mark Pope all the luck in the world. There was a ton of energy yesterday.
We talked to Travis Reier about Alabama landing a basketball commit. Auburn lands one as well in J.P. Pegues, the former Furman point guard.
Yeah, he was one of the top guys out of the portal. I think once the two guys moved on, Trey Donaldson moves on, and Aiden Holloway, I think that was a guy that Bruce Pearl and his staff identified quickly.
Right.
J.P. Pegues, I know South Carolina, Florida, some other schools were trying to talk to him, but it felt like Auburn identified him quickly in the process. And as you said, they get another guard, and I'm sure they're probably not done in the backcourt trying to bring in players.
All right, let's get a break in, because when we come back, we will indeed talk Masters. Charlie Plott has arrived here at Bill Penny Toyota. We'll break down Scotty Scheffler's romp coming up next. Live from Bill Penny Toyota.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
That traffic trying to go eastbound on 565 is backed all the way back to Greenbrier now. It's a 6-vehicle accident up near Trash Panda Stadium that's causing the problem. Turned out to be a no injury, but it's taken a little while to clear. Had one in Limestone County, 72 westbound at Blackburn that should be clearing. One with an overturned vehicle in Lawrence County near Moulton, 33 at County Road 9 that also should be clearing out of the way. They had a train blocking Clinton that was supposed to be there for 10 minutes. So that crossing should be clearing. Snelling needs experienced production managers. Direct hire in Madison with great benefits. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the South Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
Man, I appreciate what you guys do. I know credit got Drew, Talkin' Ball 7 until 9 on my show when I feature Drew, and certainly have a great relationship with Wes and Steve and Tom and all you guys, man. It's always fun to hang out with you with media days, different bowl events, but I always appreciate the partnership. I almost feel like we're sister stations with 97.7 The Zone, the only sports station in the Rockets. And thank you so much.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on the driver who treats the highway like a racetrack and the shoulder like a passing lane. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor at Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at gensuperstore.com.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back in on a Friday or a Monday. Don't worry, you can't hear. You'll be able to hear us, but we can't. You can't hear us through the phones, but you can hear us.
I can hear it.
Yeah, we can hear it. Anyway, it's not a great headphones, but it works.
Yeah,
well, we have not had a chance. But anyway, the Masters is in the books, the 88th edition of the Masters. How about this? $3.6 million for Scotty Scheffler. That's how much he brought home by winning the Masters. And just to tell you how good Scotty Scheffler has been this year, okay? Caddies get 10% of earnings. Scotty Scheffler's caddy, Ted Scott, has already earned $1.2 million this year off of Scotty Scheffler. $1.2 million. That would put him 54th out of 200 PGA Tour players on the money list this year. That's how good he's been.
Yeah, we talked about it, Scotty versus the world, and we are here with Charlie Platt from Platt Performance to talk about the Masters. And we had Travis Reier on with us earlier, Charlie, and he basically said this is Tiger Woods level stuff. What Scotty Scheffler's doing, he's far and away right now the best player in the world.
Well, I tell you, Travis knows what he's talking about because first of all, he made the comment, Travis did, I don't think Scotty had his A game this weekend.
Right.
And I tell clients all the time, it's not how good your good is, it's how good your bad is. And we saw other players bad on Saturday and Sunday, and their balls going in the water and stuff like this. And Scotty never did that. He just kept dodging. He kept leaving himself in places he could score. And it is Tiger Woods like. I heard a stat over the weekend about a new metric that they offer, which is an adjusted relationship to par and all this. Tiger Woods holds career-wise like the top 6 positions.
Yes.
Wow.
Scotty's got the 7th best ever. And it is Tiger Woods like. Tiger's competition was way better than Jack and Arnie's competition. Jack and Arnie only had to beat 4 or 5 guys. Tiger had to beat 15, maybe 20. These days, the competition is so good. It literally was Scotty against the field, and he doesn't have his A game, and he beats them all by 4 shots.
Yeah, he comes down, birdies 8, 9, 10. It was a close match. I mean, it was everyone was tied, 7 under, right around that point. Scotty Scheffler goes on a run, birdies 8, 9, and 10, I believe it is. Kind of separation from there. It was almost like, okay, I made a run. Who's going to make a run with me? Who is up for the challenge? Who's going to put just a little bit of pressure on the guys? And I tell you what, Augusta was brutal this week. They put those pin placements in spots that, what was it, 17 was just brutal.
Well, it got very firm and very fast.
Yes.
And you could hear the ball land on the green. It sounded like it was landing on hollow wood. I mean, it was, like landing on a floor. It was brutally hard, brutally fast. But you look at Scotty's stuff. I said his bad was better than everybody else's. I think his good was better than everybody else's. He almost holed 2 shots coming in on 9 and then 14. Just unbelievable play, and such a contrast, if you want to put it in Tiger Woods terms. He doesn't carry the persona that Tiger does, and I've got a client who works with Randy Smith, who is Scotty's instructor, and he's met Scotty on numerous occasions out there in lessons, and he's just the most approachable, humble, kindest individual. And if you've watched Full Swing and seen him on there, I mean, this is just a guy you want to root for. And Oberg was awesome, first major ever in his career, and he finishes 2nd.
Yeah, we got introduced to him. He's somebody. I mean, he was just an amateur not too long ago.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I saw him in the league where I was like, who?
Yeah. He was playing at Texas Tech not too long ago. So you look at it, and it was some of the people that you figured would be up there. Folks like Rahm never really did anything. I mean, you just had lots of people that struggled in the conditions. I felt like Tiger was out for one thing this weekend, which was to make that cut, and
he did.
Set
and he
that
got the record.
He played great, but then his body continued to do what it's doing. He looked like he was walking much better this year than last.
And he's lucky to even be walking, to be born.
Yes, honestly.
He is. But he made the cut.
Right.
And there was a special moment, and it had nothing to do with wins. It had nothing to do with strokes, shots, anything that. And that was yesterday. Tiger Woods, Vern Lundquist sharing a special moment, because this was Vern Lundquist's last Masters. He has been on the 16th hole forever. Yeah. And I mean, it was special to see Tiger and Vern share that moment yesterday.
Well, it led me to replaying hole 16 highlights to Justin, educating him, and then of course Justin knew all about it. I was like, okay, I can't show you anything. I've seen that. I've seen that. I think Vern is a much better golf commentator than a football play-by-play guy. He has a real sense of the timing, and in golf, commentating is so slow and knowing when not to say anything. And there were lots of those highlights with Vern where he doesn't He just has a minimal amount of words.
Yeah.
And, I mean, most of my life, Vern Lundquist has been right there doing that.
Well, if there's a guy on tour that everybody loves, it's Colin Morikawa.
Yes.
They absolutely love him on the tour. He is one of those guys where he's well respected, he's well liked, and we were watching him on 18 yesterday, and he has to make about a 7-foot putt. And I told my wife, I said, that right there is probably about a $300,000 putt.
Probably that or more.
And it was, because if he missed that putt, he was falling all the way down to 6th place. He ends up going home with a little over $1 million. Had he missed that putt, he was only going home with about $600,000, and that was on 18. And so he finished his third, in a tie for third.
And you saw something on 18 with Morikawa yesterday that you don't hardly ever see. He had to play backwards out of the woods. I don't know if you saw that. He hit it in the woods, had to play backwards and at least 50, 60 yards, and had 233 to the pin on his third shot, and still managed to make a bogey and save his place. It was funny because he even made jokes about, hey, I'm playing back to the tee. But Morikawa is absolutely loved. I think there's so many people. Max Homa, I would have loved to have seen Max win, maybe just a little more self-belief, and he pulls that off. It was a good leaderboard, a young leaderboard, and, Scotty's in rare territory, too, before the age of 28. He's 27. That is Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus territory when it comes to Augusta.
The one thing with Scotty Scheffler, and we talk about guys being liked on the tour, guys being well respected on the tour. Scotty Scheffler is quickly becoming that. And a lot of it is because of his words that he says in post press conferences. He's not afraid to talk about Jesus Christ. He's not afraid to talk about that at all. He brings it up. He brought it up yesterday. He brought it up several times this year.
He was asked about things that define him, and the first thing he said, this was pre-Masters.
Yes.
The first thing he said was his relationship with Christ.
Yes.
And he puts it out there not in a preachy way at all. Just goes, this is my foundation, this is my basis. I have heard other things from him, and I believe in this strongly when it comes to enhancing performance, that having a spiritual basis and feeling like whatever you're doing, the sport doesn't define you.
Yes.
I had a client the other day, a very talented teenage girl, and she made the comment to me that academics and athletics validate me. And I said, well, you're really bright and you can work hard, and academics probably isn't as much of a risk as letting a sport define you. And so I'm constantly pulling people back to, golf or basketball or tennis, or in my case, bass fishing with a lot of clients. It's something you do. It's not who you are. And I think Scotty is the epitome of that. Golf is something he does.
Yes.
It's not who he is. And maybe right there is a differentiator with somebody like a Tiger, who you always felt like golf was who he is.
Is that why we have not seen, you think, Rory complete that Grand Slam?
Boy, I don't know Rory that well, but you kind of get that sense that there's more riding on it than just the golf.
Yeah,
it's I've got to have this. I've got to do this. If we go back in the ages, you would want to think Nicklaus was kind of like defining himself by athletics. If you listen to what Nicklaus said in the decades past, golf was something he did. It's not who he was. He would quickly leave tournaments and fly all the way across the country to watch a kid one of his children play in a sporting event. He was so much more about things other than golf. I think Arnie was very much the same way, so invested in their charities and their giving back. And so I just feel like Scotty brings such a great image of balance, and golf is what he does. It's not who he is.
Well, and then DeChambeau had a great start. As always, though, he's inconsistent. But then he did have the end of the round on Saturday where he holes one out. That was crazy.
Is that not
on 18?
God, he's getting big though.
Well, Bryson just maybe it's the artistic side of me, which is very limited. But
then he had the equipment that was just it was approved at the last minute, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he does a lot of things equipment-wise.
Yeah,
all of his irons are the same length,
right.
And there's logic and science behind what he's trying to do. But I just feel like at some point you just got to play and just
like a mad scientist kind of feel.
It is very much a mad scientist approach, and I take it for what that is. He doesn't look as bulked up as he has in a couple of years ago, so maybe he's not taking certain things that you would suspect when somebody gets so muscular. Now, I tell you, Tiger is looking... I don't even know what to say. It's reminding me of Barry Bonds.
Yeah, you talk about how, though, that golf doesn't define you. I think that's Tiger right now.
Yeah.
I don't think golf – I think Tiger is – I think when we say Tiger – we still have visions of him being the world's number one ranked golfer and being just indestructible out there on the golf course. Tiger, his mental edge right now, or his mental process is not that. His process is, I'm going out there and enjoying the game. And you saw that yesterday. I don't know. I mean, when Tiger was at his peak, he never talked to anybody on the golf course. Never talked to anybody. He talked to the guy that guy that he played with yesterday had the round of his life because Tiger Woods was engaging with him. The caddy was he was engaging with everybody out there. His mentality is different, but yet why can't we grasp it around our mentality of this isn't the same Tiger anymore?
Well, it isn't, and he knows it isn't. He can't do that. Now I think he sees himself much more as an ambassador of the game, and you start seeing as people get older, they want to give to the next generation and pass things along, and nobody is really Tiger's competition. Nobody's my son asked me yesterday, is he the greatest ever? And I go, I have no doubt he's the greatest ever. As far as combining the physical talent with the mental talent and executing and all of that. And we all who are older have that image of Tiger, and now I think he's almost grandfatherly, that he's passing it along. He wants to encourage and welcome this kid and do everything. It's hard to play golf with Tiger Woods. I have seen at tour events when Tiger was younger, he would go to the putting green and there'd be 30 pros on the putting green. 5 minutes later, there were 5 because it was just a zoo. And it's like, it's time, Drew, to go get a sandwich. I'll come out and putt later. It's hard, and I think Tiger recognizes that. He's not trying to use it to his advantage anymore. He tried to make the kid feel comfortable and probably gave him the memory of his life as being able, this is my hero, and I get to go do this. So I do think that there's a much different Tiger now than there used to be.
The conversation is going to turn to every time you get someone. So Scotty Scheffler does tie Tiger Woods. Scotty Scheffler becomes just the second player ever to win the Masters twice, being ranked number 1. He joins Tiger Woods as that other golfer. Tiger Woods did it at Augusta. Now Scotty Scheffler repeats that, or Scotty Scheffler accomplishes that. People are going to say, well, how many majors can Scotty Scheffler win? Because he's got 2 Masters by the time he's 27.
I think the next one that would not surprise me would be a British Open. I think his game could be suited to that. He's a great ball striker. I just don't get the sense that he's a U.S. Open style player. He hits it really far. Augusta's fairways are really wide. You get at a U.S. Open. I mean, imagine Augusta if it had 6-inch rough and 30-yard wide fairways. I mean, it would just be a nightmare. So I don't know. I can't wait to see what Scotty does. I feel like a PGA is easily within his grasp. You have certain horses for certain courses, and there is no doubt Augusta is his sort of place. And, we could see 3, 4, 5 out of him at that location if he stays healthy.
No question. Well, Charlie, we appreciate you coming in. We don't get a chance to see you live a ton, but we enjoy you coming into our great sponsor, Bill Penny. But tell everybody about Plot Performance and what you got going on.
Man, we've just got so much going on. Had an angler finish second yesterday. That was exciting. Got young kids just having a great time. Had a kid from Cincinnati on Thursday. On Saturday, I was in Georgia working with a kid from Atlanta.
Nice.
Just folks from everywhere, and it's exciting. There's been an influx of younger girl players and recognizing the importance of the mental game, and we just believe that you can teach life through sports. And we want to teach people how to be successful in life and use sports as the vehicle. And if anybody wants to get in touch with me, the very best way, I will put my cell phone number out there. And you all know I answer it if I get a text sent my way. It is 256-509-2636. Text me, and we'll talk about what we can do to help you or your kids get better.
Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate
it. Thanks, Charlie. Let's get a break in. I'm going to wrap up Talking Ball when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The traffic on 565 eastbound is beginning to move again, but it's been back past county line, so it's going to be a slow go recovering there. That's all because of a 6-car accident eastbound up around Trash Panda Stadium. It all should be cleared out of the way now. Everything else from earlier should be clear. You be careful as you make the rest of your trip in. You could win a 2024 Jeep Compass at the 40th Annual Bloomin' Festival Art and Craft Fair, the 21st and 22nd. That's this weekend, adjacent to Ave Maria Grotto in Coleman. Over 180 artists and craftsmen, great food, music, and more. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental also specializes in day and weekend rentals to homeowners? The weekend rentals is by far the best deal that they offer. If you pick up after 2 on a Friday or anytime Saturday morning, it's not due in until Monday morning before 8 a.m. for a one-day charge. For a small fee, Valley can even haul anything they carry. Valley has extremely experienced and knowledgeable staff that can help you decide what size machine you need or what type of machine you need to get your job done like a pro. They have all the big items that the contractors need for their jobs, but they also carry the small tools that can help you with your DIY project. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and ask for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Short time here left on our Monday show. Coming up tonight, VBC North Hall, the newest class of the Huntsville-Madison County Athletic Hall of Fame, will get inducted. And let me tell you, this year's class is very, very impressive. Ron Alexander, if you ever have been to a basketball game, a softball game, you know Ron Alexander, the official umpire extraordinaire.
SEC umpire in softball.
Yep, SEC.
And is he still the head of SEC? I think he is.
I don't know if he is the head of the softball still, but I know one time he was the head of softball umpires.
Once he moved off the field, he was, he was the, like Steve Shaw's the director of officiating for the SEC, and now college football. He was the director of SEC softball umpire.
No one nicer than Ron Alexander.
Great high school official.
Andy Blackston is going in. Greg Brown is going in.
Two great high school coaches in our area.
Annette Fletcher, Ruthie Hambrick, Kathy Huff, they are going in as well. Jay Shearer is going in.
Great player.
Angie Stafford. Bronsky Towns is going in.
Towns, for a long-time DC at Alabama A&M.
Yep, he was there with Lewis Cruz back in the day. How about this? Kenneth Darby and Ramsey Robinson both going in together tonight.
Yeah, and they should. I mean, they played for Ron Danley at Butler High School, and we both know they went on to Alabama to have great careers. And, now Ramsey's got 3 Super Bowl rings, doing a great job. And we know Ken used to work in our old location below us at Iron Tribe, and he's done a great job in real estate, but he played in the NFL for a while. 3,000-yard rusher at Alabama, underrated player.
He still may have a record at Alabama. I still think he may.
He had a heck of a career, man, and people forget how good he was. He and Ramsey kind of finished up right before Nick Saban, but they both left their mark on the capstone, no doubt about it.
And Clifford Toney is going in as well, and Bobby Pierce is going to get the Special Achievement Award.
Longtime UAH and Troy baseball coach.
Yeah, the original baseball coach at UAH.
Started the program.
Yep. He and Les Studeman started both programs. Les, of course, started the softball program. She's still there. Bobby Pierce started the baseball program at UAH. Went on to have great success at Troy, get Troy to the NCAA tournament as well. So that is going on tonight inside the North Hall. So get on out there if you want to be a part of that. And then sad news to report as well on the Alabama side.
Yeah, Dave, 79 years old, former quarterback. And then, of course, he was a head football coach at Ole Miss and Vanderbilt, and AD at Alabama. Steve Sloan passes away. So another, member of the Alabama family that's very important to a lot of people, Coach Steve Sloan, passing away at 79. Prayers to his family.
All right, that's going to do it for 2 hours. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, back in studio tomorrow, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Talking about big thanks to our host, Bill Penny Toyota, here at the service department, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. They can service your vehicle. Don't forget, four tires, buy 3, get 1 for $1 here at Bill Penny Toyota. See you guys tomorrow.
Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state